Welcome to Subramani. When you see a cricketer playing risky shots and then getting out, you will have some of our old commentators who never retire saying, oh, he shouldn't have taken that risk. If you didn't take any risk, then you were very likely to score 36 runs in 60 overs and the match would have been over much before it started, right? So you cannot do that. You have to take risk. You need to understand that you have to take risk. So look at this scientist called Carl William Scheele. He was a person who discovered a lot of chemicals which we know today, right from knowing that the air we breathe is made of nitrogen and oxygen and stuff like that. He did not get much credit, but didn't stop him from making more discoveries. He had one bad habit. He would taste all the chemicals that he was discovering or he was dealing with, and he died at a young age of I think in his 40s. He had from the expression in his face, it was like he was shocked by the chemical which he had tasted, right? So could you have said you shouldn't be doing this? I've always argued that when a 80-year-old slips and falls in the bathroom, the first reaction is, what was his hurry to go and get a bath or things like that? That's wrong. That's a wrong question to ask, because 80 years of his life, every day he has been getting up in the morning and having a bath. So today he slipped. So we don't understand what we are saying most of the time when you talk about speculators. So when a person speculates and makes money, the most important thing is to know when to stop, and that's not very easy, because what has got him there is what he will continue to do, right? And so is there any point in saying, oh, he shouldn't have done the speculation? But it is the speculation which has got him there. I remember telling a client of mine, with perhaps my late client, I used to be his auditor. He had a net worth about in excess of 200 crores, and I'm talking of maybe 1980s. I once told him, his daughter was also there. I turned to his daughter and said, tell your father he shouldn't be taking so much risk. This is too much. He turned to his daughter. I mean, I was talking to his daughter and I told her, and he was also sitting there. He turns to his daughter and said, tell Mr. Subramaniam, if I had not taken any risk, I would still be a school teacher in Bhuj, right? This is exactly what he said, and that's where he started, and then he became a multi-millionaire with 8 offices around the country, around the world, right? So those kind of things. So yes, you need to understand that some things which you do to reach you there, you have to stop doing it also. That's not very easy. Like Jesse Livermore is a great example. He used to speculate, he became very successful, and then didn't know where to stop. That's a problem most of us will have. If you are speculating and making money, sometimes you should know when to stop, and that's very difficult. That is where you have fantastic managers like Prashant or Naren, who know how much risk to take and when to cut it off, right? So suppose you bought Coal India at 120 and you've been getting good dividends. You either say, okay, I'm very happy with the dividend, I'm so happy with the dividend that I don't care about the price. But somewhere at 360 or something, you might say, oh God, it's a 3-bagger. I already am collecting so much of dividend. Why not sell off, say, 1000 shares or 2000 shares and keep reducing my risk, right? So portfolio sizing. So all these things together help you in your in your investment process. So yes, all of us will speculate, all of us will buy things which we may be proven right, and sometimes when you're proven right, you have to buy more. And sometimes when you say, okay, I've bought this cryptocurrency, it has given me 108% return in the last 3 months, should I take my profits? It's a difficult thing to do, right? So whenever you have some strategy which works for you, you have to keep asking yourself, is it skill or is it luck? If it is luck, profit booking is a complete necessity. If it is skill, then you know you can let it you can let it go on for a longer period. Let's take the case of Coal India. I was the original allottee, I think that 245 or something. I sold at 319, 335. I think it went to 415 also. At that time, the government announced that it is going to sell it through ETFs. That was a great signal to say, okay, now these shares cannot go up. Whether it will go down, I didn't know, but I knew it can't go up. That was Coal India, Larsen and Toubro, Axis Bank, and I think ITC, right? So some of these SOOTI shares the government was selling through ETFs. So we knew, at least I knew, that the price can't go up. So I did not get rid of enough of Larsen and Toubro, but I got rid of all my ITC. I got rid of all my Coal India, right? So all these things I got rid of, and then I waited. Amazing luck that I bought it. My first buy was at 120, then I think I bought it 117, 119, maybe 115. And then I said, I remember some fund manager asking me, when will you sell? And I said 360. So some of these things help, and some of these things you buy and you will lose also. Like for example, GMR. I bought it at 70, and immediately on speaking with somebody, I realized that I made a mistake. So I sold it off at 68 or something, 71 and 69 or something. I remember I lost about 2 rupees, and then the share actually fell to 9 rupees, right? So you have no clue sometimes when you speculate whether you're right, whether you're wrong, and when to stop. These are very important things. So do I speculate? Yes, I do speculate in the sense, but that I paid out some money and bought a share thinking it's a short term buy. In the short term it doesn't do well, then I review saying, is it worth investing? Now this is a stupid thing to do at times, and sometimes it is an absolutely genius of a move. And at what price do you cut? Luckily for me, when I bought GMR at 70 or 71, and I spoke to this guy, and he said, no, it's not a good buy, there is something happening which is not very good, so sell off. And I listened to him because the loss was only 2 rupees. Would I have listened to him if the loss was 22 rupees? I don't know. And then when it came down to 9, I found some fund managers buying it, so I bought it back. So some of these things which you do help, some of these things which you do not help, some of the risk that you take helps. That is exactly why it is called risk. If all the risky activities which I did got me 36% CAGR, then where is the risk? There was no risk. So you need to understand that some of the things which you do, you have to stop doing after you reach a particular level of net worth and say, oh, I can't now afford to take risk on my total portfolio. When you have nothing to lose, it's easy to take a risk, but when you have more to lose, then you have to be careful. So we also keep saying that concentration risk is something which you can take to create wealth, but having created wealth, it is necessary that you should diversify your portfolio. So whether it is an Asim Premji or Mukesh Ambani, it is necessary for them to diversify their assets. It's not so much of an issue for somebody like Warren Buffett, because his portfolio itself is a diversified portfolio. So something can't go wrong with Berkshire Hathaway because it is like a fund, right? So for him the risk is lesser, but even for him that risk exists. So he has to have investments outside of Berkshire Hathaway, which could be just bonds. So if I were to do business like some of my friends do, then their portfolio is only bonds, right? It could be GSEC, it could be any debt fund, in spite of the poor way how it is taxed or whatever. But they would only be that because their main business is the risk business, right? The equity is in the business. The business that they are doing is equity. But if you are a professor at college and your wife is a professor at a college, obviously a lot of your portfolio has to be equity, because your job is not creating wealth for you. That is giving you money with which you have to create wealth. So find out what suits you, find out how much speculation suits you, what does not suit you, when to cut. That's when to cut is very important. Just because you're making money in doing one particular thing, it cannot be that you played blindly. Recently, Rohit Sharma hit 85 against Pakistan in one of the World Cup matches. And you realize that he was taking a lot of risk in hitting sixes and fours, but he had the confidence that the whole team can easily make that 190 runs. So sometimes you take the risk because you know that the target itself is not very high, and you take the risk saying, look, if I can hit very fast and make the runs, then I get a good rate. The net run rate, NRR, IRR, CRR, two very confusing, so it took me time, sorry. But the NRR goes up, so he was taking the risk and it worked for him. Of course, he must have perished I did not watch the match. I just watched the. I just read the score, but maybe I saw clips of it later. But the thing is, obviously, when you live by the sword, you perish by the sword. And remember, investing and trading are double-edged swords. You have to be careful as to how you are holding it. Thank you.